of Storehouse Media. Sherry, how are you?
I am doing great, Neil. Thank you for asking. And I'm excited about today's guest. I'm want to welcome Pastor Joel in Usher, and he is the founder of Kingdom Marketplace. But I want him to tell us what it's about. But welcome, Pastor Joel. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Well, thank you for being here. So, you've come up with this podcast called Kingdom Marketplace, and I looked into it, and it's very interesting. We had somebody on last week from an organization called C Suite for Christ. So something that seems to be happening these days is bringing that marketplace, marrying that marketplace with the Christian faith. So let us tell us, describe Kingdom Marketplace and what your whole reasoning for starting it.
Sure. So I will tell you, one day I was actually walking through the mall, and a young man, probably in his late 20s, had this booth in the middle of the mall, and it was a Christian clothing brand that he had started. I think it was called Desire. And so he's out there talking to people. He's out there hustling, he's talking to people. And when I left from talking with him, I started thinking about all of my other Christian friends that have done similar things. And it just seems like they're all independent, they're all scattered, right? And I was like, what wouldn't it be amazing if you could take all of these different Christian products and services and put them all into one place? And so that's where the idea for the Kingdom Marketplace shop came about. It was like, let's do an online mall for Christian products and services. So what we do is we point people to Christ. At the Kingdom Marketplace podcast, we bring people on, we highlight Christian entrepreneurs that are bringing a kingdom word, which are usually pastors or those who have published books. We'll bring them on, give a kingdom word, kingdom products, any kind of products that anyone has, whether it's clothing or accessories or whatever. Bring them on, and services as well. So that's what we do at the Kingdom Marketplace podcast, to highlight those Christian entrepreneurs, and then we're able to sell their products on our Kingdom Marketplace shop website.
That's fabulous because you're figuring out that you're building a niche that people are looking for to know they're entrepreneurs or Christian, right? Kind of what your goal.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. And because I think sometimes for Christian products, you have to search for Christian products. Like, you have to go looking for this particular product, and you got to go look for it and find it. What if you can just go to the website, a website that has all those, instead of going to Amazon where you got to search for those things, you could go to a Kingdom Marketplace shop where all those things are already there, and you can just look for whatever it is that you're looking for.
Yeah, it's a great way to support the kingdom and those
Yeah.
who are entrepreneurials in the kingdom, and that because I believe God gives us these witty inventions where we come up with these ideas and everybody has their lane. Like, I could not quilt. I'm just
Yeah.
not that kind of person, but there are people who are. They're given
Yeah.
that talent. So,
Yeah.
you have people who have come from all different walks of life, and they bring that with them with their new products. I think that's awesome. Now, when you talk about it, just to be clear, you have a physical and a digital market, or both, or either or.
No, it's all digital.
Okay.
We actually, to be honest, we did have a physical place for a little while, but the overhead on the physical place it just didn't make sense for us. And so we were like, let's just do it all digital.
Yeah, and
And,
that's awesome because that's really where people shop now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but I'll be thinking about something I need, and usually a lot of times it'll be off the wall kind of things. It's not a normal, and I'm like, oh, Amazon, of
Amazon.
course. Like
Yeah.
everybody goes to Amazon, but it would be great to be able to point them in the direction to support, the
Yeah.
kingdom marketplace.
And to create a community where you have entrepreneurs who, let's say you have a small following. You have a small following of about maybe, 100 people, right? And then you have somebody else who also has a small following of 100 people. Well, now you've got, if you put them all in one place, now you have eyes for 200 people instead of just marketing to your to where you're at, to like this young man that was in the mall. He's hustling in the mall, and he's trying to sell his shirts and his his clothing wear. Well, now you have other people who are able to see what you're doing because you're bringing all of these people with all of these different people that they've marketed to, and you bring them all to one place, and now you got more eyes.
That's right. Kind of a
And it's,
spider
it's
web.
and it's powerful. And how you build a bigger audience is bring a bunch of people together, and that
Yeah.
grows the audience so that everyone has opportunity.
Yeah, that's it. And that's the game plan. When you look in the book of Acts and you look at how the early church started, right? They sold all of their goods. They all came together. They were all on one accord. They sold all of their goods, right? And they took care of each other, right? And so that's kind of the idea. That's kind of the concept, is that we're all going to come together, and as a community, we're going to help each other out. So I may come on and I may buy from this particular store because they have this product, but I also may see somebody else and say, you know what, I want to support them as well. So I'm going to support them and buy from them as well. And so what it does is it helps uplift the entire community, and it points people to the kingdom.
I love it. I think it's a great concept. You do have a backup. You do have Acts as a backup. It's like this can work. Read the book of Acts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's where
yeah.
I got it from, man. That's where I
That's
got it from.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. How long you guys been around?
So this has been a journey. We started the idea. We really okay. So last year was when we started. Um, we moved to completely online. Now I can't remember exactly when that happened. It's such a blur, but it probably had to be around the summertime or so is when we moved online. And so now that's what we're trying to market now, is that we're available online. We had to revamp our website and redo things in order to support this new concept. And so that took a little bit as well. So now that we have all that in place, and now we're out there like, hey, listen, y'all can do it. We can make this happen for each other.
Yeah, and I think the reality's coming. It's here. I mean,
Absolutely.
and that's
Absolutely.
that's that's the key thing. And what has been the feedback so far? Trying to find more and more people to come to the store to market their stuff.
Well, the feedback so far has been um, people have a niche that they've marketed to in a way that they've done it. So now it's just trying to get them to say, hey, listen, why don't you do it this way? And so I actually haven't had I have more success with authors and publishers trying to sell their books. Um, that I have success with. But I'm trying to get more of like a clothing store, or more of accessories, or or just any kind of entrepreneur that I can get my hands on. That's what I'm trying to get to. And so I'm trying to put more emphasis on that.
Right. And why authors? You're finding out because they don't find the right audience to sell their book, right?
Exactly, exactly. And that's why the avenue for authors is so much better, because you know that the people that are coming to the site are people who are looking for that kind of content.
Well, Sherry and I work with authors. So
A
how
lot.
easy is it? Go ahead, Jerry.
A lot.
Yeah, what we're gonna say, Sherry?
No, I was saying you said we work with a lot of authors. I'm like, a lot. Yeah.
How easy is it for them to get set up in the store?
Oh, it's simple. It's just a matter of getting their information, getting their getting the profile picture for their book, the uh the information as far as the what to put on the website, and then we set them up kind of like setting them up in a store, just like you would in a mall. And I've got a fabulous web designer that or well, it's not a web designer anymore. They don't call them web designers, but we got a fabulous software developer that's able to do that and walk them through the process. It's not hard at all. It's real simple.
Well, that's great. And
Yeah,
that makes life easier
yeah,
when you find those things. Because I
yeah.
mean, the process of setting up and selling your book, Sherry, on Amazon is not easy, is it?
No, it is not. It is not. I'm
Sherry,
telling
is it?
you.
That's why you're a
It
storehouse. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean,
On
it's
KDP,
work.
it's very
Yeah.
difficult for anyone not technical.
That's right. That's right. And usually people will say to us, you know, the publishing company are like, I'll say, well, they're looking at budget. I said, well, you can do this. I'm like, that's okay. You can do it. I was like, okay, we'll do it. But, let me ask you about, genres. There's a lot of Christians out there that don't necessarily write Christian books. It can be anything as long as it's not anti-God and any of that stuff, right? Like if it's
Yes.
business or true crime or something.
Yes. Yeah, yes, definitely. So anything that comes from anything that's going to uplift the kingdom, right? That's going to point people to Christ. That's the kind of products and that we're looking for. And I still right now I'm going to be kind of selective as to what I'm going to put on there. Not that I don't think there's really anything that you could like. I mean, I can't think of anything other than if it's gonna be anti-Christian, then it wouldn't fit
No,
anyway. So
no, they'd be
yeah,
banned.
so
No,
yeah,
that's
so I
so
mean, if
you have
you're if you're a Christian author and you have a
yeah.
Christian book, I'm I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I wrote a book. I self-published my book. I know the process of self-publishing and how hard it can be. You're going against the grain. You're fishing upstream is what you're
A
doing.
lot of
Yeah.
competition out
A
there.
lot of competition. Yeah.
That's right. Got to have some uniqueness to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it
Yeah.
goes into what I'm finding out is the marketing. I mean, you could have a great book, but if you can't get eyes or you don't have the exposure to get people to look at what you have, it's hard. It's hard to sell the book, right? And the whole point of the process is not just to sell the book, but it's so that people can, well, for me anyway, when I wrote my book, it's not just to sell the book, it is to help people um move them into a deeper maturity with Christ,
Yeah.
and so
So if you're a book author, how do you fulfill your book on your site? How do they do that when they sell it from your site?
now that's going to be on them. So however they fulfill it, so we take the order, they receive the order, and then they fulfill that book however they do it.
Ah, okay. And
Now,
that's because you can't always trust Amazon.
no, 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 no. So like for me personally, I went through two different, well, three now different self-publishing places. I started off with Amazon. I did the ebook deal at first, and then I was hesitant to do a printed copy just because I had heard some stories about how they hold your money. So and so I went to books.buy, and I did my fulfillments through there at the beginning. Then I just did it through Barnes and Nobles now uh as well. So
Interesting. Sherry, isn't that interesting stories that, what he's coming with a unique solution for Christian authors that could self-fulfill their book and be able to do it through the marketplace?
It really is, and it's about time, right? That Christian authors have a place to put their books, and besides Amazon and Barnes and Noble. I mean, Amazon's the big dog in everything. Everybody goes to Amazon, but to know that, I know people, a lot of people who purchase books, it's important to them to know that their money is going towards, even though they're getting a book back, but it's kind of a bonus to know that their money is going towards something good, the proceeds or whatever. So to know that it's going into kingdom minded or kingdom people is a very big plus for the authors. If somebody, let's just say somebody wrote a book, they're a Christian, and they wrote a book on, let's say, how to build car engines, but it's not about God, it's about building car engines, but yet they're Christian. Is a book like that accepted on your platform?
I would accept a book like that because Christians still would need to Christians need to know how to do things like that.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
so I mean that's
Yeah.
that's still
Or
I
cooking.
think anything that would be see for me, I think it would be anything that would go against God,
I
right?
understand that
Like
Right.
totally.
yeah, anything that's anti-Bible, anti-God, then yeah, no, I probably wouldn't do that. But if they're Christian, I'm pretty sure they're not writing books that way.
We'd hope
And you
not.
and you're
We hope
seeing by
not.
getting these smaller audiences over, you're getting more and more people to your site, right?
Yeah. And that's the goal. That's the goal. So let's say you're a person who published your book and you only and let's say you've sold like 50 books, right? And but there's somebody else who's sold 1,000 books, and so you get those two people on the same site, and you may be looking for one book, and you may see another book and say, "Hey, listen, I like that, I like that book as well. I can go to that." So you're getting more eyes on what it is that you're doing, and you already know that more than likely the people that are on the Kingdom Marketplace shop are going to be people that will be looking for your kind of content.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, Sherry, this is a no-brainer for people who are Christians to sell things on this
I know.
marketplace.
I
Hmm.
know. And it's not just books. Got to remind them, right? It's
No, no,
not
I
just,
was bringing up the book conversation because we are on the
yeah.
Store
Yeah. It's
House Media Group
interesting.
podcast. But what else can we
Yeah.
sell?
I
Yeah.
know. I know.
Yeah.
It's so people out there, if you sell, people out there sell like pot holders,
You got
kitchen
people that
racks.
sell that make candles. They sell candles. They
So
do. I mean, there are people who are out there who are very creative. God has given them a gift, and they just don't know where to sell it or how to sell it or whatever the case may be. And they make homemade things. And they could be able to sell it on a site like this as well too.
That's huge.
interesting.
I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely huge. I'm Sherry. There's no so any type of product, if it's still not anti-Christian, we don't want that anyways.
Yeah.
That you can sell on the. Do you sell any digital products as well?
I haven't yet. I haven't yet, but maybe. I mean, possibilities are
So
endless,
what
right?
what is the percentage that you take compared to, let's say, Amazon or some other bigger box store that use?
So, yeah, great question. So the what we do is we charge a membership. So we just have a $10 flat rate right now. This is just so, this is why people need to get in now because it's ground floor, $10 a month. That's it. Whatever you sell is whatever you sell. How much ever you sell is whatever you sell. And we're not taking anything more above that. Now, if the volume gets to a certain level, then we may have to take for processing fees or whatever to process the sale. We might have to do that, but outside of that, that's all it is, just $10 a month.
Wow.
Now,
Well,
do
I
you?
that's a great deal, Sherry, because again, ten
It is.
dollars, you know, you're gonna sell way more than that on Amazon, and Amazon takes way more than $10.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. And I have an author who makes most of her money off of selling books off of her website than she does Amazon.
Yep.
And, she'll flat out tell you, hey, that I make more money because Amazon takes their cut, they do. But it's interesting, how they started was in the garage selling books. And now look at them now. They have
Yeah.
like spread their wings and flown.
Yeah.
Woo, they're big, but they did include all kinds of things like QR as well. And they've been they're known like, well, if you need to find something, you can find it on Amazon. A lot of times, sometimes you can't. But I think it's awesome. And people, let's talk a little bit before we go about your podcast. You've got a podcast going on.
Yes, yes, yes. So the podcast is a way for us to do kind of like what you guys are doing right now. You guys are highlighting the Kingdom Marketplace shop. Well, that's kind of what we want to do. We want to highlight Christian entrepreneurs, if it whether it's an author or whatever product they have. We'll also have a list of services that if someone has some kind of consulting business or counseling business or something like that and it's Christian, we'll have a list of services on there as well. But what we do is we bring them on to the Kingdom Marketplace podcast, and we do about 30 minutes, do a 30-minute interview with them just to highlight them. And then we give them that interview so that they can use that interview to market however it is that they want to market themselves. And so it's a way for them to, again, get more exposure, get more eyes on them, get them in the algorithm, so that they can get more people to whatever they're doing, whatever product they're selling or service they may be providing. And it's great for me because I get to meet new people,
Yep.
just like coming on this podcast, being able to meet you guys is awesome. And I learned something from each one of these interviews. I've had three different authors on. One dealt with finance, another one dealt with wisdom. This last one was a truck driver who had been driving trucks for years and was ready to make a career change, and he just went into IT. And he talks about his journey into IT and how God led him through that, and the transformation process that it took for him to be able to do that. And now he's doing really well. He has a great company that he started, and he's doing really, really well. And so and he wrote a book about that. So I actually benefit from being able to interview these people because I learn so much from them. But they also get the benefit because it puts the light on them to be able to get more eyes
Right.
to them.
And you learn so many different things. And that's the cool thing about doing a podcast or radio show or whatever we call it. Back in the day, it was a radio show when I started. Um, because you learn so many things, and it's therapeutic as well to do the interviews because you're promoting somebody, you're helping somebody, and you can be who you need to be in the interview. You can help people. You can help them even in the interview process. We had an author on last week or starting with Jennifer Clark Eskew and I, and she's probably going to work with Sherry now because she was having issues with the book and the cover and everything. And I gave education during the podcast and
Yeah.
said, hey, what are your challenges? What do you need help in? How can we help you? What have been challenges so far? And what you're doing is you're providing, as Sherry brought up about the number of book sales that and or anything. If you have a product and you are dealing with setting it up on the TikTok shop or you're setting it up somewhere else and the headaches technically that you have to deal with, and then them taking most of that money away from you after you sell it, it's a no-brainer
Yeah.
to go with
Yeah.
you. It's a
It's
no-brainer.
a no-brainer, man.
All right, Sherry, anything
That's what I'm
else?
trying to tell people, man.
It is.
I would like to know, how do people get a hold of you? How do they get their book onto the Kingdom Marketplace?
Well, they can email me. Here, I'll give you a phone number that they can call. It's 512-537-1549. That is my phone number. They can email me at pastorjusher@gmail.com, or at Joel at Kingdom Marketplace .shop. It's longer email. That's why I don't always go with that one. But at Joel at Kingdom Marketplace .shop. They can email me and then me and my IT guy we get right on it. And we'll get you all set up, everything that you need in order for you to get on. And before your product goes live on our thing, we will do an interview with you on the podcast to highlight that. And so,
Fantastic. That's another great win for
yeah,
sure.
There you go.
it's a
All right.
win-win. It's a
All right. We
win-win.
really appreciate it. Now, if you also are interested in all things marketing, media, and podcasting, go to storehousemediagroup.com. Appreciate it, Sherry. Thank you again, Pastor.